time for our sponsored Ask the Expert segment. Leonard Jordan with Quality Appliance will answer a common question he gets a lot. All right, so here it is. My dryer is not drying well. It takes 2 cycles to get the clothes dry. What's wrong? Why do you hear this so often, and what's happening?
Well, what's happening with this almost all of the time is these people, you've got a restriction somewhere in the venting, you know, either inside the dryer itself or through the venting that goes in your house. And most people neglect to clean those out, to clean the louvers out. And so what's happening, the best way I can describe it is, imagine if you had a hair dryer and you put your hand over, you know, part of the hair dryer, or you know, and try to dry your hair. You're just not getting that same volume of air.
Right.
And basically a dryer is just a big air pump. So it takes in this cold air, heats it up, has to move it through. So if you restrict that, what happens is it just takes a lot longer to get that water out of the clothing.
Is it dangerous? I mean, that sounds like that could cause a fire or something.
It absolutely does. Just like with a hair dryer, and I'm sure everybody's done this and played with it, you clog it up and you see that element grow really red and hot. A dryer's the same way. It gets really, really hot. If you don't get it taken care of, you can prematurely, you know, knock out elements, or it'll trip with some kind of a thermal fuse that's inside the dryer. But not only that, is that you're just using a lot of electricity and putting double the wear and tear on a dryer that you shouldn't have to.
So you're taking the life out of your dryer, you're causing a fire hazard, and you're paying more with your utilities. This is bad news.
Yes. And if you've got an emergency like, oh, I forgot to do my laundry, whatever, you're gonna be going to work with wet clothes or something, or kids to school with wet clothes.
Exactly. So you got to have that proper maintenance, and that's just kind of getting there and cleaning all that stuff out.
Yes, and some of these vents are long that you would actually have to hire somebody to come in and actually clean those vents out.
How often would you need somebody
I would
to do that
recommend probably about once a year, just to check that. But what you want to do is, where it usually plugs up is on the louvers on the outside.
Okay.
So go out there, make sure that you don't have lint built up in there, make sure that your louvers are working properly, there's not like a branch or something growing up against it that would stop the airflow. So do those checks first. The easiest way to test this is if, you know, you pull that vent off the dryer, check how much air is coming out right there, and that's what you should be getting on the outside of your house.
Okay.
And so,
well, it reminds me of my sister and I. We used to stick things in there to see it fly out on the other end. So make sure your kids aren't doing that either,
yes,
right?
and you know, another thing that we find every spring is if the louvers aren't working, is birds will go in there, build a nest. And so we'll get the service call and go out there, and you hear the birds chirping, and you, oh, what do? You know, you got the birds.
Exactly.
You know?
Call the Humane Society. I don't know.
Yeah, right on.
Okay, so if you have a question for Leonard or any of our other experts, you can log on to ABC4.com. Maybe next time we'll see your question on there, and Leonard or any of our other experts will answer that question on ABC4 at 4 o'clock. That's the goal, right?
It sounds like you and your sisters got into this.